Alright, welcome back to Bit Heroes Explained. Today we're going to talk about trials because today is Friday. Friday is the weekly reset, and since trials is a weekly event, it is going to reset in about 6 hours, so I'd better hurry up and use all my resources to finish this off and make sure that nothing is wasted. So you notice that I'm going east from the center of town, coming over here, and I can find this guy. He is Nixon. He looks like a little Duke Blue Devil guy. You can click on him and open up the interface, but you might be saying, oh hey, you don't have to go over there, you can just click on your user interface, and that's also an option. Yes, of course. You can click on the right side of the screen, you can see the trials interface over here as well. So similar to everything else, there's a reward system here, so if you get a certain amount of points, you can get your point reward, and it's a very reasonable goal to knock out the 10,000 and get these rewards here, so definitely suggest doing that. If you want to be competitive, you can try to push up the leaderboards and see what rewards that you get based on that. So we're going to see what we can do. I do expect this to move around a little bit because it is Friday, it is the end of the week, and some people might start trying to be a little bit more competitive, finish out in a higher tier that they're currently in. So I'm rank 5.3 thousand. That's not going to be shown here. That is the top 100. But if I can try to progress a little bit, maybe I could jump out of this and I could jump into 4,000 and I can get a reasonable amount of increased rewards here. But nothing too crazy unless I'm able to jump into 3,000, which we'll see. I don't know. This is the free-to-play new character, so I'm not going to worry about buying any resources. But you can do that if you want. You could come over here and purchase some of these. I would suggest against purchasing these from this and waiting until there is something like a discount, because you can see how much you save. You're saving a ton by going this route. You're saving 25%, and these come around about once every week or once every 2 weeks, so it's very frequent that you can get some of these discounted duffels, and you can get a bunch of, you can get 50 tokens, and so on. So it's always wise, if you are going to spend on the game, to get discounts on your gems, discount on what you're buying, and you'll spend half as much and get more out of it. As far as difficulty over here, you can choose and select what difficulty you want. Trials and Gauntlets have a different loot table, so they can drop different things. There's certain sets that you can only get from these trials, and the tier of the set is going to be dependent on what tier you're competing. So if I'm over here and I'm in tier 4 and see how the color is red, I can only get epic gear that is tier 4 from here. Of course you can get lower quality gear, but the best gear I could get from here would be epic tier 4. So if we go on up, I can get legendary items from here, and that'll be tier 5. If I keep going up, I can get set items that are tier 5 through here, but we're just going to auto through an easy game, hopefully. I'm going to be in tier 6, and I can get legendary items from here if I'm lucky enough. Same thing with the ticket system. If you want to burn through tickets faster, you get multipliers through here. Getting through those tickets a little bit faster. This is going to speed up your daily run. And then of course there's a rank system, so the higher level you compete, tickets times what you compete will give you your points, and those will add up over time, and that'll increase your rank. So let's just dive right in here. So trials are very similar. It's basically another dungeon with a seemingly random combination of enemies. And well, let's speed this up a little bit. Seemingly random combination of enemies. I've kind of dropped down a little bit into a level that's easy to farm. What's important to note that, let's say right now I'm doing a 110, and that is going to give me a chance to get legendary equipment from this tier. I will not get more experience if I go to a 111 or a 112 or whatever. It's going to be the same amount of experience in that tier. So unless I'm trying to get more points to go up in rank, there's no benefit in items dropped or in experience from going higher tier. That's one of my somewhat frustrations. I guess it's a way to kind of curb high level players from just shooting off and skyrocketing to 1,000 levels. But it does kind of take out a little bit of that incentive or drive. The only real benefit from going exceedingly high in tier on Trials and Gauntlets is to climb the leaderboards So if you're the top 100 players on the highest trials completed, you'll be on the leaderboards. If you want to climb ranks, you can get more points through that. So we're continuing to run through here. Each of these trials have 2 bosses. There's a mini boss, and he can drop the legendary gear if you are doing a high enough tier. There's also a final boss. He can also drop the high enough gear, or the legendary gear. But other than that, it's basically you're running through a dungeon with a mini boss in there. And we're about to bring this one to a close. But that pretty much does it for you. You do want to get familiar. I was just going to say that. You want to get familiar with the familiars that you're fighting. So this Goose can do a ton of damage, and you can see it just wrecked my tank. So I'm going to bring him back with a potion. And let's see. He's got some shields on him, so I don't mind putting him on front, at least for a hit or 2. Let's see if I can take down that guy. And then, alright, so put it back in order. Just one way that it will help you through game mechanics. There's a lot of RNG involved in these, and so you might be able to auto run through a 100, and you can manually push to maybe 200, but you go back to that 100 and your tank gets 1 or 2 shot, and you're like, what the heck happened? RNG is definitely a factor, and if you're more familiar with what you're fighting against, you can kind of figure out, okay, something like Goose, it can attack a random enemy, it can do a ton of damage, and it can get you a little bit better prepared. So that will do it. I will show off this week. I really pushed to try to get my Polaris set on my main account, and in doing that, I went through trials and I was able to get that. I spent a ton of time at Gauntlet, and I had almost no success. I got 1 piece, and I ranked up, and I spent, what was it? I got a 1.6 million rank points from the amount of effort that I put into Gauntlet, and then in trials in the first, I think, 50 or 100 badges, my main account got the last 3 pieces of his set, and so I'm there kind of scratching my head. RNG definitely is a factor, but a lot of players have reported that trials give more loot than Gauntlet, so that's something to think about. Maybe it's because it's individual battles, maybe it's because there's a mini boss and a boss, or maybe it's just RNG playing tricks on all of us. But there you have it. So that is Trials. It is one of the weekly bonuses, or one of the weekly events, and it does kind of shuffle around randomly. But that'll do it. Appreciate you watching. Look forward to making the next video.